Yeah, today concept is exception handling, guys. So, any idea about exception? Exception handling or exceptions in Java. So, do you have any idea on an exception? What is an exception? Exception. We can define about exception like this. Exception is a situation or scenario that makes the application to be terminated abnormally in the middle of execution. Oh, okay. In the middle of execution. Just a minute. Now, exception. What is exception? Exception is a situation which makes the application to be terminated abnormally in the middle of execution. So this statement we need to remember just to start with exceptions. Is it clear, guys? Exception is a scenario. While a program is executing, there would be different scenarios or situations that are making to interrupt the program execution. Right. It is if you start a program, is it guaranteed that the program will execute perfectly until the end? There will not be any guarantee. In the middle of the execution, there may be some scenarios, some situations that make the application to be terminated in the middle without a proper closing of the application. That's what we are calling as abnormal termination. Is it clear? What is exception? Yes, I. Shisha? Yeah, fine. Now, in Java, we have two types of situations or scenarios. Situations or scenarios that interrupt the program execution. What are that? One is error. What are that? That are one is error and the other one is exception. Other one is exception. Error and exception. So here errors we cannot handle. Errors we cannot handle. We cannot handle. Why? Because errors make application not at all to start. If application itself is not at all starting, what do we handle it? We cannot handle, right? So errors make application to be terminated during startup itself. That means what? Application doesn't even start. If it is not even starting, so there is no chance to handle the errors. But exceptions, what this will do, exceptions we can handle. These may rise or occur during program execution, during program execution, or in between the program execution exceptions occur. So we can handle them. Why? Because program has been started, so we are controlling the flow, right? So while we are controlling the flow, we can handle it. So that are basic points we need to remember. And to deal with abnormal situations or scenarios in our application execution, Java is providing us two, two things. What are that? One is what Java is providing us to deal with these abnormal situations in our programs. A set of 5 keywords. A set of 5 keywords. Next, a set of classes hierarchy. That means inheritance hierarchy. There is a root class. Under that root class, we have several subclasses. For that subclasses, again further level subclasses like that we have. So these are the basics that we need to remember about exception handling. Exception handling. Let me exception. So in the exceptions folder, I'm saving it. Now, so as the part of exception handling, what do we learn? We will be learning about this set of 5 keywords and the set of classes hierarchy. These two, if we learn, and by using this set of keywords and class hierarchy, we can deal with exceptions in our applications. Is it clear, guys? So it's very simple. So first, let us see a class hierarchy. What are the set of classes that we have? That class hierarchy, we see we have so many classes as the part of exception handling. Even if we browse in the internet, we can see Google. Exception classes hierarchy in Java. So see like this, we have so many classes. So which are some frequently using classes that we see that we can check here. See, mm, when the image in new tab, If you observe here, see on the top, okay, it is not correct hierarchy. Yeah, if you see here, don't worry, all these classes we cannot discuss, but if you remember these classes, it will be useful. Okay, I will save this image and share this image also with you. See, in exception class hierarchy on top, what do we have? Throwable class will be having. Under throwable, two types of abnormal situations we have, right? Error and exception. To represent that, we have these two classes, like error class and exception class. Under error class, what are the subclasses we have? We have these all these different classes, like linkage error, assertion error, thread death, virtual machine error, and again here bootstrap method error. So many all these are there, but these with these all errors we are not going to deal with any more anything in our applications. Why? Because the errors cause application, sometimes application startup itself doesn't happen. So whenever application itself is not starting, then we cannot do anything. But if you see this exception hierarchy, under the throwable, exception class is there, right? Two subclasses, error class and exception class. Under the exception class, you have several subclasses like IO exception, reflective operation exception, runtime exception, cloud not supported exception, interrupted exception. Like this, we have different set of classes. Under IO exception, again, we have like a file not found exception, socket exception, no concurrent exception, and unknown host exception. Like this we have. And here also the reflective operation exception, like class not found exception, illegal access exception, instantiation exception. Like this. But a very important thing is, like all these runtime exceptions, if you see, what are all the runtime exceptions we have? Under runtime exception, we have arithmetic exception, array store exception, class cast exception, concurrent modification exception, enum constant exception, illegal argument exception, number format exception, illegal monitor state exception. Again, here under the runtime exception, we have like illegal state exception, we have index out of bounds exception, array index out of bounds, string index out of bounds exception. All these different classes, we have so many classes we have to represent exceptional scenarios in the application. Exceptional scenarios means the scenarios which make application to terminate in between. So to represent each and every scenario, as a object oriented approach, they have created several classes and they have given. So these classes we can use, we can use to handle such exceptional scenarios in our applications. So let me save this image also. Exceptions. Okay. So I will share this image. Let me see some simple another. Even I think this is enough simple. Even if you remember this image, that is enough in general. Simple one. These two images you can go through. This simple one also, if you remember, that's more than enough for you. This, open the see here under throwable, you have uh, two classes, like exception class, error class, both are extending throwable, that means inheritance. And again under exception class, we have uh, child classes like runtime exception, IO exception, SQL exception. So many classes we have, the frequently using classes. All these classes we'll be seeing uh, regularly in our programs also. That's why I'm preferring this image to remember. If you remember that previous earlier one, that is very good. If you feel that is difficult, you can just go through that, but try to remember at least these things. Whatever are there, simple, right? Under runtime exception, arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, index out of bound exception, array index out of bound exception, like that we have, we can see. And IO exception, SQL exceptions, and all. And under error we have like stack overflow error, out of memory error, class definition not found error, like that we have several errors. But anyhow, the error part, we don't require to focus much. Why? Because we cannot handle it, so you can ignore that. Just if you remember, then it's okay, fine, but no need to remember or focus much on this. Why? Because errors cannot be handled in the program execution, but exception part we need to remember. As the part of exception handling, we need to remember. Why? Because we need to deal with all these classes, means we need to use all these classes to handle the exceptional scenarios which make application uh, to terminate in the middle of execution. So we want to avoid such termination of middle of execution scenarios, or even though if it is the execution flow is interrupted and terminated, we need to do some uh, alternative flows execution. So there, these exception classes will be helpful. Clear, guys? So these are the things we need to remember. Now, that is about a set of class hierarchy. So here what we can say, on the top in the set of class hierarchy, what is there on the top? Throwable class is there. Under throwable class, what we have? We have error class. Under error class, what we have? We have subclasses like a stack overflow error, out of memory error, right? Extending. So stack overflow error, out of memory error. Like this, we have so many other classes also, but let's take only these two. Along with the error, what else we have? We have exceptions, right? We have errors and exceptions. Under exceptions, exception class, what we have? We have classes like a runtime exception, IO exception, SQL exception, right? IO exception, SQL exception. Next, runtime exception. Under runtime exception, we have again subclasses. What are that? Like arithmetic exception, null point exception, index out of bounds exception. Exception, null pointer exception, and index out of bounds exception. Index out of bounds exception we have, but again under index out of bounds exception we have subclasses. What are that? Like array index out of bounds exception, array index out of bounds exception, and string index out of bounds exception. So these are the different classes what we have in as the part of exception class hierarchy. So we need to have idea on all these classes, and we need to use all these classes as part of our application development. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So now let us see the set of 5 keywords what we have, and what is the purpose of each keyword, and how do we use it, that we see. Just give me 2 minutes. I will be back and I will start. Okay. Take 5 minutes break, guys. So 5 minutes I will be restarting it. Sai,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, fine. Okay, let's start. So as the part of exception handling, what we need to be aware of, we need to know that exception handling, to do exception handling, Java is providing us 2 constructs. One is a set of 5 keywords, and second one is a set of classes hierarchy. So the first one, a set of classes hierarchy, we have seen here. What are the classes? Of course, we do have so many classes in hierarchy, but everything we cannot remember, right? Even here whatever they have shown in this diagram, this is also not limited, means it is not limited to only these classes. We have hundreds of classes in uh, Java to deal with exceptions, to represent exceptional scenarios. So all that we cannot remember, so you can just remember this simple class hierarchy. This is enough, which we are seeing very frequently in our applications. So that's why I focused on only this. Now, along with these classes, what else we have? The second thing is what we need to know: the set of five keywords. The set of five keywords. So let us understand what are the set of keywords. Set of five keywords we have. What are all the keywords that we do have here? We can say, yeah, the first and foremost keyword is try. The keyword is try. Second one is catch. Third one is finally, and fourth one is throw, and fifth one is throws. These five keywords, so we should know. We need to make use of these five keywords to deal with these exceptional scenarios. So what are the exceptional scenarios and how do we deal with that exceptional scenarios? To deal with these exceptional scenarios, we need to make use of these keywords and these classes. So how to use that? So now let us see one by one about these keywords. Yeah, the try keyword. So the try keyword, what we can say, the try keyword is used to write the doubtful code where there is possibility for exceptions. Exceptions. Use it to write doubtful code block. Doubtful code block or code block where there is possibility for exceptions. So syntax, how do we write? Syntax, we can write like this: try and one block of statements we write. So, but within this try block, what do we write? We write several statements. These statements are what? The doubtful code. The doubtful code or possibly exceptions code. This code we need to write in try block. Is it clear, guys? So what we need to write in the try block? The doubtful code where there is a possibility or chance for exceptions. Such code we need to write here. Clear? And again, this try block uh, cannot write alone. We cannot have only try block in our application code. We should have a following catch block, or we should have following, we should have a following catch block or finally block for finally block or both for any try block. So whenever we are writing try block, what is the point we need to remember? Simply try block alone, we cannot write in our programs. After our try block, we should have a following catch block or finally block or both associated to this try block we should write. And these points we need to remember. Is it clear, guys? Yeah, Shishi, Sai. Next, catch block. Next, the catch keyword. The catch keyword, how do we write? The catch keyword is used to write the exception handling code. Exception handling code. Is it clear? The catch keyword is used to write exception handling code. Exception handling code means what? If at all. Where do we get exception? There is a possibility for getting the exception in try block. So if any exception occurs in try block, control should come to catch block, and in the catch block we should write the exception handling code. We should write the exception handling code. Is it clear, guys, what we should do in the catch block? Now, the syntax, how do we write? Syntax for catch block, we can write like this. And always catch block should follow a try block. Without try block, we cannot write a catch block. Always the catch block should follow a try block. That means what? Without writing try block, catch block alone you cannot write. So the syntax now, what we can say, this try block is there, and after the try block we can write catch block. We can write catch block like this. Catch block. And when we are writing catch block, this is how we need to write the catch block. And here we need to write exception handling code. We need to write here in catch, within parentheses we need to specify exception type or exception class name. More clearly, let us say exception class name or exception type, and some reference variable exception ex. Like this we can write try catch block. We have to write in this way. Is it clear, guys? How do we write try catch blocks as the part of exception handling? Now let us see a simple example program on exception handling. A simple example program on exception handling. public class exception demo. Exception demo .java. Now public static void main so main here what I do, just first let's write a simple class. Mm, hmm. We do one thing, we take that system class demo, we have written a method, right? What is the method we have written to collect inputs from keyboard? We have a method, means we have written some method, right? Like a string, public string, a input read input, let us say, and within this read input method, what is the code we should write? Let's take string input. Initially we can take as a blank string. Yeah, do you remember this, guys? In a system class demo we have seen this one, right? To collect input from keyboard. We take that one so that exception handling we can see effective exception handling programs. Now string input, now while, and we need to have a character also, right? So cap ch, like some blank string. And how do we read char? We are reading input from the keyboard, character by character, right? Input char, we can say. So this input char, let us take as blank space initially. So while the input char is not equals to what, new line, until new line we need to take a new line comes into our comes as input. How, whenever we press enter key, the backslash n will come as the input. So before enter key, whatever we have read, all that we need to take as our input, right? So take this here. Now what we need to do, input equals to input plus, we need to concatenate this character, right? Input char, input char, like this we can concatenate. So finally, after coming out from this while loop, we can say return this input string, return this input string, whatever is coming, everything will come in the form of a string as input. Now in the main class we want to read this input. So here it is a static method, right? From static method, normal method directly we can't call, so we need to make this also as static. All these are previous session rules which we learned, you need to remember, guys. Now uh, let us take two numbers. Let's write a simple program to perform uh, some addition or arithmetic operation, division operation we perform, right? So here int, int int x equals to, initially let us take it as 0. Next int y equals to 0. Now int result equals to 0. Initialize three variables. I want to perform division on these two inputs. So first what we need to do, we need to ask the user to enter uh, uh, a value for x, and later need to read the input. So for these two steps, what we can say, how to ask the user to enter input for x, like system dot out dot println, ask the user enter x value or value for x. Hmm? Enter x value. So let us say it has printed. So why? Because on the same line I want to read the value. That's it. Next I need to read the value from keyboard. So to read the value from keyboard, what do I have? I have read input method. So call that a read input method. Read input. So when we are reading this input, what it will do? It will read the input from keyboard and returns that input as a string. So take some temporary variable like a string input. We can take, define here, declare here, and now initially let's make it as null or empty string, anything you can say. Now here input equals to read input. Now what I need to do, how the input has come, okay, that I will show you later. Next, first input we have read. Next again, what we need to do, this input we need to place into x value. We are reading the value for x, right? But to read input from keyboard, we have a method read input, and it is returning value as x, sorry, string. That's why we have taken as a string variable. Now from that string we need to get the int value into this uh, into variable x. So how to convert that string into numeric int value? To convert a string value into int value, we have one class, one predefined class we have, like integer class we have. In this integer class we have a method. కూర్చోండి, కూర్చోండి మనం. రాజు, తొక్కి తొక్కి పడేస్తుంది. Integer dot parseInt. In an integer class, here what is this integer? It is a predefined class in Java. In this class we have a method called static method parseInt. If it is a static method, how do we call? With the class name only, right? So that's why without creating any object for integer, directly I can call this parseInt method like this. And this parseInt method takes a parameter of type string. That string should represent a numeric string, and that one will be converted into primitive type int. Here like this we can take. So in the similar way, now I need to ask the user to enter value for y. So ask the user enter y value, read input again, and pass into with integer dot parseInt input and y. Now result equals to x plus y, sorry, x by y. I want to perform division operation, right? So this one. So next, system dot out dot println result is result. So what we have done in this program, is it clear, guys? Are you getting? Are you following what I am writing and what I am explaining?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shishir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think you missed this class, right? Like how to read inputs from keyboard. This system class also you missed. Hmm? This one we discussed in previous sessions, system class. You just go through that. Hmm?
Okay, sir.
Like this we can take. Now let us compile and run this program. This program works fine only. And later I will show where do we need the exception handling scenarios. So first of all, once we open command prompt, what we should do? Need to set path. Program files, Java, JDK, and then bit. Now Java C exception handling demo. Sorry, exception demo. Now Java exception demo you run. So enter the value x value. It is asking enter x value, right? I want to x value as 56. What happened? Printing, right? So let's reopen the command prompt again. Its keyboard is not working on this. CD in parent we have exceptions. CD to parent, CD exceptions. Now here Java exception demo. Now value 56. Oh, so that means we have problem with God. We are not reading the. So what's the problem here? Did you get it? We have written a continuous while loop. So continuously it is, but we need to read the input character, right? How to read the input character? Input char equals to system. Yeah, system dot in dot read. System dot in dot read is a predefined method, right? System class we have in object. In object we have predefined method read, which reads one byte of data from the keyboard, and that one byte data we need to convert into character and store into input char. Like this we need to do. This one we missed. That's why it is keep on going through this while loop, not reading any input and not breaking that while loop also. That was the issue. Got the point? Why? Because we are not really reading the input from keyboard. This statement was not there. That's why always input char is right now what is their blank space, so it is not matching with the backslash n and continuously repeating it. Is it clear, guys, what was the error and how I solved it? Now set path c colon program files java jdk bin. Now java c exception demo, one error is there. Oh, sorry, exception demo dot java, right? Now java exception demo, enter x value. I want still okay. What was the problem? I have not saved the file, that's why still old code only running. I have not saved this file. I had done the change but not saved the file, that's why still it was in a hanged mode. So set path. So are you getting what we are doing? Program files java jdk and then bin java c exception handling demo dot java. So it is giving error must be caught or declared to be thrown. What is that unreported exception, io exception it is saying, right? So as of now what we do, we write it as throws exception. Throws exception, let us write as a simple this one, but later we'll discuss about this throws exception also uh, in a later discussion. As of now just write declare this method as throws exception, here also throws exception. కూర్చొని సిద్ధంగా తీయమంటే తీసారు వచ్చేది ఇప్పుడు ఎత్తుకున్నారు. Now java exception demo, if we run now we can see it asks, see now cursor is blinking, right? We can enter the value 56, enter x value 56 for input character. That new line also it is taking, that's why it has been thrown as exception. So what we need to do, input character, let us put one if statement here. If not this one, then only we should add, read the inputs like this we need to take. So now let's enter value 56. Or else what we need to do, input dot substring of 0 comma input dot length minus 1 minus 2. Yeah. Why it was giving error? Because that backslash n also is coming as our input, which we need to cut it. I was missing that cutting that last character. That's why it was giving. So now what I have done in this line number 10, instead of simply returning it, I'm just substringing it. I'm creating a substring from the input 0 comma till last before uh, character. Last character will be what? Always backslash n. If I enter 56 here, how does it will read here? Assume that here I am entering 56, right? If I enter 56, 5 6, what do I type on keyboard? 5 6 and enter key. Whenever I press enter key, this also will come. So I need to cut this character. I need to cut this character. How to cut this character? For cutting that last character, this is the logic I am using it. Don't confuse what is this. Here I am just cutting the last character. Is it clear, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the similar way here, if I give 8 as input, if I want to give 8 as input, then what will be, what do I type? 8 and enter key, right? So like this it will come. But what is our actual input? Only 8. That backslash n, and enter key means backslash n, that we don't require as our input. So we need to cut this. So this input dot substring means it will cut the last character. I have written substring 0 means index number 0 from the first character to last but one character. Hmm? Hmm? how how many characters I want? That one I am saying here. Means last index till where it requires. That one I am saying here, like input dot length minus 1, minus 2. So this how I'm writing. Now this is the program actually how we can enter. If I press enter and see 8 and enter, then 8 will be taken as input and it divides 56 by 8 and returns the result like 7. In this way we can write. So now let us write our program. Java exception demo value 96 and our input is 8, then the value is 12. Like this we can write. Now it is working, everything it's everything is going fine, right? But now let me enter the value, like enter x value uh, 12 and y value as 0. Now what happens is, so what is happening? It is not displaying the result, rather it is displaying some a message like exception in thread main, all these things. So as we know Java, we can understand somehow, right? But what about the real user? If the real user is using, can he understand what exactly it means and how we use this, what we need to do this? In this case he cannot understand, the real users cannot understand, right? What is the problem here? Actually there's nothing but a 0, right? This 0 should not be. Always we need to submit the values like non-zero values to perform any division, right? So Again, if I enter some value 70 and 5, now I get the value properly, so it is working fine. But whenever we are submitting the value 0, that means what, enter y value. So while reading the value y value, there is a possibility, means while reading, and here it clearly shows so where the exception has come. After reading exception demo line number exception demo.java line number 26. So in 26 where it is performing the division, here it is facing some exception problem, right? So this is this code, we can say the doubtful code, which we need to handle. So handling this doubtful code to recover from the exception, what we need to do, the doubtful code we need to keep in the try block. The doubtful code always we need to keep in try block, right? So in try block, what we need to write, catch block. For every try block we need to write catch block. In the catch block, what we should say, catch, and after catch the parenthesis and uh, this one. So here what we can say, we can say system.out.println, we can say input value for y cannot be 0, right? Cannot be 0. Like this, if we give the information, user can understand, okay, the problem is with his inputs. So again he can rerun the application and give the proper inputs, right? And in catch, what else we need to write, the syntax for writing the catch block. Here we can see catch block should have exception class name and a reference variable we need to write. So what is the exception class name that we are facing here? We are facing arithmetic exception, right? Just give me 1 minute, guys. Let me connect my charger. Right. So here, what is the exception that we need to write? If we see here this log, it is clearly saying exception name. So exception in thread main java.lang.arithmetic exception, right? It is showing what, arithmetic exception. This is the class name that we need to use. So we know what is arithmetic exception. It's a predefined class, right? In our exception class hierarchy, we have this arithmetic exception, right? So this one we need to write in catch block, yes, or any reference variable name, AE, anything we can write. Is it clear, guys? How should we write this arithmetic means try catch block? Now if I run, how this exception behavior you can see. Let us say 45, let us say 9. Valid values we have given, it has worked perfectly. Now once again let me run 45. Now let me give the input as 0. Now See, input value for y cannot be 0. Like this, if we give the value, means if we give the message, then end user can understand that his input is wrong. So he will re-execute the program with appropriate values, so like 56 and non-zero value for input. Like this. Is it clear how we can make our application is more informative, and we, instead of displaying this kind of exception, miss some long messages which are not understandable for the end users, giving this kind of clear message like input value for y cannot be 0. This one will be a good one, right? This is the best way, right? So that a user can understand and can continue with the application with proper values, right? Yeah, guys, have you understood? Yeah, Shishi, Sai.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is how we handle exceptions in our Java applications. This is a basic example, and of course we do have lots of things with exception handling. So we pause here today. Tomorrow we'll continue with the further uh, aspects in the exception handling. What else we can do here in catch block, and how else we handle all these exceptions and all. Okay, today we pass here. Tomorrow we'll continue on the regular time. Okay, guys. So tomorrow 7 a.m.
Bye.
Okay, bye.